Right now, you're probably looking forward to going to bed tonight. Maybe you'll scroll on your phone for a few minutes, switch off the lights, pull up a blanket, and drift off to sleep without giving it a second thought. It feels completely normal. But that simple habit is one of the oldest things humans have ever done. It's older than cities, older than farming, older than writing, older than the pyramids. In fact, humans were sleeping at night hundreds of thousands of years before anyone built a house or planted a single crop. The strange part is, we didn't have bedrooms, we didn't have doors, we didn't even have walls. So why did humans decide that nighttime was for sleeping? Why not stay awake all night and sleep during the day instead? And how did our ancestors survive the most dangerous hours on Earth while they were completely unconscious? To answer that, we have to travel back long before the first humans ever existed. Around 320 million years ago, Earth's earliest land animals already lived by a daily rhythm. Every sunrise and sunset changed the world around them. Daylight brought warmth, food, and activity. Darkness brought cooler temperatures and new predators. Over millions of years, natural selection rewarded animals that could predict these changes instead of reacting to them. Hidden inside almost every living creature today is an internal biological clock known as the circadian rhythm. This tiny timekeeper isn't something humans invented. It's inherited from ancient ancestors that lived hundreds of millions of years before the first campfire was ever lit. Think about that. Long before humans learned to make tools, evolution had already built a clock into our bodies. Even today, your brain keeps time without asking your permission. As morning sunlight reaches your eyes, special cells send signals deep into a tiny part of your brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. It's only about the size of a grain of rice, but it acts like your body's master clock. It tells you when to wake up, when to feel hungry, when to release hormones, and eventually, when to feel sleepy. Pretty impressive for something smaller than your fingernail. But here's the thing. Early humans weren't living in comfortable houses with blackout curtains and memory foam mattresses. They lived outside, completely exposed. As the sun disappeared, the world changed almost instantly. Temperatures dropped, visibility vanished, the sounds became unfamiliar, and some of the planet's deadliest hunters began waking up. Lions, hyenas, leopards, massive snakes. For our ancestors, nighttime wasn't peaceful. It was terrifying. Imagine sitting beside a small fire on the African savanna nearly 2 million years ago. Beyond the glow of the flames is total darkness. Every rustle in the grass could be the wind, or something with sharp teeth. You don't have a flashlight. You don't have a locked door. You certainly don't have emergency services. You have your family, a few simple stone tools, and hope. That's the world early members of the genus Homo faced every single night. Archaeologists have found evidence that species like Homo erectus, which appeared roughly 1.9 million years ago, were already becoming more social and cooperative than many earlier human relatives. They didn't simply survive because they were the strongest. They survived because they survived together. When darkness fell, groups gathered close together. Adults slept near children. Individuals took positions that made the group harder to surprise. Some researchers believe not everyone slept deeply at the same time. Just as many modern hunter-gatherer communities naturally have different sleep patterns, ancient groups may have always had someone who was lightly awake, listening for danger. No official night shift, just biology doing its job. It wasn't perfect, but it worked. And then something happened that changed human nights forever. It wasn't a sharper spear. It wasn't a bigger brain. It was something far more powerful: fire. The oldest widely accepted evidence for controlled fire comes from sites such as Wonderwork Cave in South Africa, where researchers discovered traces suggesting that early humans were using fire roughly 1 million years ago. That discovery didn't just make food taste better, it transformed the night itself. For the first time, darkness wasn't completely in control. A small circle of light pushed back the shadows. Predators became more cautious. Cold became easier to survive. Families could stay together after sunset instead of immediately hiding in fear. And something remarkable may have happened around those fires. People talked. They shared experiences from the day. They warned each other about dangerous places. They remembered successful hunts. They probably laughed. Maybe they even told the very first stories. The night was no longer just something to survive. It became time to connect. But fire solved only part of the problem. Humans still needed sleep. And evolution had a much bigger reason for insisting on it. Sleep might seem like a terrible survival strategy. Think about it. For nearly a third of your life, you're lying still, mostly unaware of your surroundings, unable to react quickly if danger appears. From a survival standpoint, that sounds like a terrible idea. So why didn't evolution simply get rid of sleep? because the benefits turned out to be far greater than the risks. As early humans evolved larger brains, those brains came with a problem. They were incredibly expensive. Even though your brain makes up only about 2% of your body weight, it uses roughly 20% of your energy while you're awake. That's an enormous cost. Every decision, every memory, every movement, every conversation is powered by billions of neurons, constantly sending electrical signals. They can't work forever. Just like your phone eventually needs charging, your brain needs time to recover, except it isn't really switching off. It's getting to work. During sleep, your brain begins one of the most important maintenance routines in the natural world. Scientists have discovered that while you sleep, the spaces between brain cells expand, allowing cerebrospinal fluid to wash through the brain and help remove waste products that build up during the day. In other words, your brain cleans itself. Pretty useful for something you do while drooling on a pillow. But cleaning is only the beginning. Imagine you spend an entire day learning where fruit grows, recognizing dangerous animals, or figuring out which plants make you sick. Those experiences are valuable, like heck, but only if you remember them tomorrow. That's where sleep becomes a superpower. During deep sleep, the brain strengthens important memories while trimming away information that isn't useful. It's like organizing thousands of messy files into neat folders before the next day begins. Without enough sleep, that process falls apart. For ancient humans, forgetting the location of clean water or failing to remember which berries were poisonous wasn't just inconvenient. It could be fatal. Here's what makes this so important. Sleep didn't simply help humans recover, it helped humans learn. And learning changed everything. Each generation no longer had to discover every survival skill from scratch. Knowledge could be remembered, practiced, improved, and eventually passed to others. Better memories meant better hunters, better gatherers, better parents, better survivors. Over thousands of generations, that advantage added up. Then there were dreams. Humans have wondered about dreams for as long as anyone can remember. Ancient civilizations believed they were messages from spirits or glimpses of the future. Today, scientists still debate exactly why we dream, but many researchers think dreaming helps the brain process emotions, strengthen memories, and even simulate difficult situations. It's almost like running practice scenarios while you're asleep. Imagine an early hunter dreaming about escaping a lion after a frightening encounter. The next time real danger appeared, his brain might already have rehearsed possible responses. It's impossible to know exactly what our ancestors dreamed about, but chances are they weren't dreaming about missing an email. Around 300,000 years ago, Homo sapiens appeared in Africa. Their brains were among the most advanced the world had ever seen. We've only uncovered half the story. If this video gets 10 comments, I'll make part 2 and reveal how farming, cities, electricity, and smartphones changed the way humans sleep.